So our goal here is to get rid of this condition when this condition is true, or actually when it is false. What actually is going on here is we're doing a start row in between order ID, and if order ID is different than 0, then its specific value, otherwise 9999. In our case, this translates to between 0 and 9999, and that causes problems because start on row where can be expensive, and also in a normal filter that can be problematic. Now, those of you who come from the magic world will probably go and use something called C&D range. And if we wanted to express this in C&D range, instead of this code, I will say C&D range. And there are several options here. The condition, when to use the range. So I'm going to say when order ID is different than blank. And what is the rules that I would like to write? I would like to write order ID is equal to product ID. Okay? By doing this, let's close this. By doing this, this condition will only appear, this where statement will only appear when this condition is true. Let's run this and run our code. And we can see here that our where statement, first where statement, which actually determines over here, doesn't include the order ID anymore because that condition evaluated to false. So one way of conditioning this code is by using this. Let's look at the comparison. Okay, so we change, let's do one on top of the other. Perfect. So instead of having this between statement, we change it into C&D range, condition, and what rule to put when this condition is set to true. So that's the first way of writing it, and that's the one that will be most familiar to people who are coming to Magic, for Magic 2.NET. But let me show you a better one. A better way of writing this condition, in my perspective, would be as following. Start row where, add, and I'm going to say new dynamic filter. Okay. Now obviously I don't know it, so I'll click the little light bulb and it will tell me to use Firefly Box in advance, and I will say yes please. And I will give it the following lambda. What happens over here? When I send a dynamic filter, this part of the expression will only get evaluated when the condition is evaluated. So I can write here any rule I want to write. In my case, I can say, well, if p order ID is different than 0, then add to the parameter of this lambda this condition. Perfect. Great. And I can go ahead and remove this line, and I can do the same for this line. If p prod ID is different than 0, then add a condition of prod ID. Okay, put it here. Perfect. So I've removed the start of row where that is redundant, and when I run this, we can see that because of that, there were no start on row where condition, and only one select statement was sent to the database, making this very fast and effective. Now, I actually prefer this way of writing because I think it expresses very well the condition in which you want to run the filters. And if we compare it to the previous way of writing, okay, we can see that instead of having these long lines that are a bit obscured, we've got this line that actually states what is going on. I hope you enjoy this. This is a very powerful tool that you can cause it to add the filters when you need them, and have a lot of fun.